Welcome to Qissa, where we talk about everything, everywhere, all at once, but not the movie. Today, we're going to be talking about a guy who is the movie. Today, we're going to be talking about Mr. Kamal Haasan, who turns 71 years old today. And this will also be his 65th year in the movies, which is an astounding thing because he spent his entire life on cinema. So, instead of talking about the 250 plus movies, what me and my fellow co-host Harini here have decided to focus on is a movie that he has written, directed, produced, and acted in, which released in 2000 called Hera. And just before we talk about the whole movie, I just wanted to point out that his debut movie may be the only movie that was protested by both the Congress and the BJP very seriously when it was released. And I guess we can understand the reasons why if you've watched it. So I'm gonna start off with asking Harini, who's recently watched Jairam, about what she thought of the movie and why she would think so many people would be offended with it.
This is his debut movie.
This is a
Is this his debut movie?
as a director, as a writer,
Uh, so let me just put it out there first. So when I watch a movie, I don't watch it the way you watch it, okay? This is
right?
like somehow a political movie, right? So I'm
Yeah,
not watching it like why is he acting this way or why is this character behaving like this? I'm not analyzing the characters
right.
or analyzing the situation or comparing it with real events.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm just watching it as a casual viewer, right?
Yeah,
So for me, it was an interesting movie as a whole. When it came to that religious aspect of the movie, I think it is still really prevalent today.
yeah,
The whole issue with the communal riots and all, still really prevalent today, and that's what made it very, real at that time. And watching the movie, and what I thought about the movie. Hmm. Actually, it felt like maybe if I was a cinephile like you, or if I had more political knowledge, like about
hmm.
Gandhism, and all that, maybe it would have been a more interesting experience where I get to analyze the characters as a whole. Just
Right.
Saket Ram as a character, and then there is that the other Ram, I think, Abhyankar. His name is,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, and the difference between these two characters and how like Saket Ram was more of his hate was more based on what happened to his personal life, that
Yeah,
trauma. His hatred came from there. And then there's Sai
yeah,
Abdankar, who as a whole just is a religious extremist, right?
yeah.
And yeah, if I felt like if I knew more about the history than I do, it would have been a bit more interesting watch for me.
I mean, it is a historical movie, so the context definitely matters and you're trying to understand a bit better. But beyond this historic part, I'm not sure a lot of people might miss it, and I'm not claiming this is an original insight of mine. This was something that was written about right from the time it was released. That Heram is basically a version of the Ramayana that is set around the partition time. So let me just break that down for you. Our protagonist is named Saket Ram, and Saketa is another name for Ayodhya. Now, our Rama here goes to his wife who is in Kolkata. They're both away from their parents. You can see in the conversation between Ram and his wife that the parents don't get along with each other very well. And when Ram leaves the house and goes outside, his home is attacked by people and his wife is taken away from him. Now this Rama gets angry. He takes out his weapon, which is not a bow and arrow but a gun, and he's walking around till he bumps into someone named Srirama Bhyankar. And if you see Srirama Bhyankar, there are various points in the movie where he's framed next to a statue of Hanuman. At the very last scene where you see him lying on a bed, there's a parcel that is
Mm.
opened on top of his chest, which is like
Yeah,
Hanuman
yeah.
tearing his chest to show Rama. And after that, you see his second wife, that is Vasundhara Das's character. She is named Maithili. Maithili is also a name for Sita.
Mm.
And you see him go and meet a Maharaja, and the Maharaja is sort of losing his privilege. He says, that now our king has still puppets after independence. And that Maharaja is the boss of Abhyankar, which is like Sugriva and Hanuman. And if you see when he visits that Maharaja, the festival that's going on is Dasara, and a very prominent scene has Ravana being burnt.
Mm.
And the most interesting subversion of this is in the end when Kamal Haasan meets Shah Rukh Khan's character, and all those other extremists come to that place. He catches Shah Rukh Khan, and what name does he give him?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
He calls him Bharat. He says, "This is
Mm.
my brother. He's lost his mind and he's gone to marry a Muslim girl."
Ah,
And Rama's own brother's name is Bharata.
correct.
Yeah,
See, when I watch this movie, right, I'm not
yeah,
catching all this contextual clues. See, I do remember all the scenes. I do remember
yeah.
the, parcel tearing on the chest or when he gets caught, and I do remember the scenes, but I'm not like putting it together and analyzing it at that level.
I mean, see,
So it's
movies
really interesting to know.
have to exist on multiple levels, right? You can have a lot of good ideas,
Mm.
but it has to work just as a narrative. Like for someone who doesn't know anything like you, the movie has to work. And then what happens is, I mean, you're watching it multiple times. When you have these layers and subtext, you're watching it multiple times, it becomes a lot more interesting because you can be like, oh, this means that. Or like when Ram finally meets Gandhi, what does Gandhi call him? He says, my Rama from the south.
Mm.
So, like that, the Ramayana motive is consistent there. So, it's basically about how this guy thinks of Gandhi as his Ravana and he goes to kill him, but then how he changes his mind. So, that part is there. But did you think that, what did you think of the film's portrayal of Gandhi? Because it's one of the more interesting portrayals of Gandhi in movies. Like it is not like it is just glorifying him or it is just demonizing him. It has a very different perspective to it. So I want to know your thoughts.
Right. At the starting of the movie, you see like not really starting of the movie, but when it came to Maithili's family
Yeah.
and all, there's this sort of glorification, not really glorification, but it's like this, okay, Gandhi is the Almighty,
Hmm.
whatever Gandhi says. And then and then in the movie there are some parts where like there are the group of people. I think I'm not sure with who Gandhi is shown at this moment.
Suhrawardi,
There's this scene where
the
like
Bengal premier.
yeah, Gandhi is with, yeah, and then you see like Gandhi is saying something and just like everyone's just moved away. Like their thought, they don't have any individual thought at that moment. Whatever
Yes.
Gandhi says, oh, they start
Yeah.
clapping, and then Saket Ram is like, why are they getting so influenced by his
Yeah.
words? You get to see it from his perspective, like why the hatred for Gandhi, and you get to see it from their perspective as well, like why this identification of Gandhi in the sense. But apart from the movie itself, right? Gandhi isn't really a great man
Hmm.
as they put him out to be,
But that is why Gandhi in the
right?
movie himself says, I am not a Mahatma.
Yeah, he does accept that. Yeah.
And there's this very clever dialogue that Kamal says. He's like, if I call you a Mahatma, you will say I'm not. So I will deny you another denial.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was a really interesting way that it was shown.
Right. So another thing, when it comes to Gandhi, right, there is this obvious modern day controversy that exists about Gandhi and his sex life. And it actually is sort of, I think Heram is the only movie perhaps about Gandhi that actually deals with how central to Gandhi's thought sex was. So a lot of people don't know this, or they're not essentially allowed to know this. But in Gandhi's own autobiography, there's this very famous instance of how his father was very ill. He was almost on his deathbed. And Gandhi was a young boy. He married his wife at 13, so they were both very young children. His father was on his deathbed. His wife is pregnant at the moment. And he was supposed to take care of his dying father. He's supposed to press his legs and all that. But apparently, and this is in Gandhi's own words, this is not written by someone else. In Gandhi's own autobiography, I think page number 70 or something is the page. He says that he was apparently very aroused by his wife. So he leaves his father on his deathbed and he goes and makes love to his pregnant wife. What happens after he makes love is that his father shouts Mohan Mohan and Gandhi can't hear him and his father dies. And later, the child his wife is carrying at that moment comes out as stillborn.
Oh.
So, in his entire life, somehow, Gandhi's frame of thought was almost like, and it is sort of true also, that the basic human instinct for sex and violence is the same, the hormone that is unleashed. And for somebody, and this sort of personal event put in Gandhi's mind that sex and violence are like two sides of the same coin. So his whole life, he was constantly trying to become a brahmachari. He failed at that. Very famously, apparently, when Indira Gandhi went to ask him to tell that she was getting married, he apparently asked her, if you really love him, stay with him married for 3 years, but without consummating it. So he had
Hmm.
a very, very disturbed, messed up view of sex. And if you see Hera, anytime there's these very, very lengthy lovemaking scenes in the movie,
Yeah.
every time there's a lovemaking scene, the next scene is someone getting injured or dying.
Oh, right.
And the very controversial thing of Gandhi sleeping with his granddaughters was actually because Gandhi consistently believed that if he has to have moral authority or if he has to do something right, he has to be the purest version of himself. And the purest version of himself is someone who's completely untouched by any desire, which is why he stayed in very humble places. He always wore very tattered clothes. He constantly tried to make himself the lowest of the lowest. And when the partition riots broke out, his entire worldview of like how people are was challenged. So he sort of was like, I need to prove. He sort of had this weird psychological thing that it's because of the fact that I still have some desire in me that people are fighting around me that I'm not able to control this violence. So, like this ultimate test for himself, he made his granddaughters lie next to him without clothes and he slept next to them.
This is a very disturbing
It is, it's
way
very
of
disturbing.
testing your
Yeah. And
right.
the more interesting parallel to this is Gandhi's own assassin, Nathuram Godse, who's also shown in this movie, if you've noticed, was
No.
also someone who never touched a woman in his life. He was apparently so terrified of the idea of sex that once he was like very sick and unconscious, and there were some nurses trying to put him on a bed. He saw them and he just ran off in a panic. So there is this, and the other thing is that there's this this dialogue in the movie where the Maharaja tells it,
No.
they take him to that secret chamber after he gets high. He says, that Gandhi has stripped our masculinity from us. He wants us to be like Napunsaks, and that is actually the exact thing Godse said. He said he made me feel that I'm not a man, so to restore the masculinity, I killed Gandhi. But this is a guy who himself never touched a woman in his life. So what is the use of that masculinity?
Right.
So all that, this very, very messed up subtext is consistently there in the movie, if you think about it. And I sort of wanted to ask you because the lovemaking scenes got a lot of criticism at its time because they were like it's so above the standard of what Indian movies used to be. So what did you think of those parts?
The love making scenes about them being too much. I did not see. I felt like it was necessary. to show the intimacy between like him and his first wife or him and Maithili also. I felt
Yeah.
like it played, yeah, it played an important aspect in that movie itself. Like his relationship with his first wife, and then after meeting Maithili, and how his relationship with her was, and then him questioning, like him remembering, his first wife all the time, you know,
Yeah.
when he was with Maithili. Yeah, I felt like it was really necessary to portray like that confusion in his
Hmm.
brain, his old self and then his new self, which is kind of, he was already in a dilemma at that point about his
Yeah.
thoughts in this whole thing, right? And then
Yeah.
that dilemma in parallel with this dilemma about how he has to move on and accept the loss of his loved one
Hmm.
and let go of that hatred slowly. Like I felt like it was necessary to show that intimacy. And apparently, this the controversy was also more surrounded around the age gap between Rani and Kamal, right?
I'm not sure about that because I think 20
At that
years
time,
is normal age gap only in Indian movies. I mean, yeah, it's a
just
lot.
yeah, she just turned 20 or something, and he was in his 40s or something. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. But
And
funnily
also, my
enough,
favorite scene was when
huh? Your
he
favorite
plays
scene
the
was?
piano, right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
she's
yeah,
just at his legs, sleeping.
yeah.
That was my favorite scene of all.
Right. I
I think
mean,
that
there
was more
is.
intimate than all the intimate scenes.
Yeah, there is something about Kamal, the director, where he shows intimacy. It's usually it might come across as vulgar, but it doesn't. It's very tastefully done. I have to give the man credit for that. Like he's an Imran Hashmi. So apart from Rani Mukherjee, apart from Vasundhara Das, another major character in Hey Ram is played by another major star, that is Shah Rukh Khan. So how did you, before I get into the background and the subtext behind his character, etc., like what did you think of his character and that portion?
His character just came at the starting of the movie,
Yeah,
and at the start, it starts with him and Kamal
yeah,
digging
Mohenjo-daro.
at the scene, and then it comes towards the end again. Yeah, and Kamal's character starts getting this intense hate towards Muslims, and then you are like, oh, he used to have a Muslim friend, and you kind of expect Shah Rukh's character to come
Yeah,
again somewhere in the middle of the story, right? Of the movie, his other friend pops up, and he kind of questions it a bit, like how much his friend has been affected in this whole thing. And then
yeah,
when Shah shows up again in the movie, you kind of expect, and if Kamal's character starts treating him differently outside the movie, like you're my friend,
yeah,
you're not like the rest,
yeah,
kind of his opinion. And I think that in thought process, that was his key part. Like that, Shah Rukh's character was a key part in changing Saket's whole, ideology. And I thought that was a really important character in the movie.
right. And this is actually probably the only movie where Shah Rukh Khan has spoken Tamil for the whole thing. He dubbed for himself, if you notice. That's actually him speaking all the Tamil portions and all that.
He dubbed him.
Yeah, there's a very famous story about how apparently Kamal wanted. So if you see the movie, it's very multilingual, right? Like Rani Mukherjee is Bengali, she speaks Bengali. Abhyankar and the Maharaja are Marathis, they speak Marathi. You have a character who's Telugu and he speaks in Telugu. There are people who's a Sindhi, he speaks in his language. Delhi, there's people who speaking in that language. So he apparently wanted Shah Rukh to learn Tamil, not learn Tamil, the language, but his lines in Tamil. So there was this one particular scene where apparently they had to go for 40 takes because he didn't understand how to pronounce Appo Tupaki or like the most basic stuff. I mean, which is very funny if you think about it. So like just him going 40 takes back and back over some simple word. But the subtext to the Shah Rukh character is Shah Rukh Khan in his own life is the son of a freedom fighter, and his father was a part of a very distinct strand of the freedom movement. I'm not sure if you've heard of the person known as Frontier Gandhi. So, just like in mainland India, Gandhi was this very popular figure who brought non-violence into the public domain and asked everyone to protest peacefully against the British. In Peshawar, that is in modern day Pakistan, there was a person called Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, also known as Badshah Khan, who wanted the Pathans, who were like these very violent, very like war-like bunch of tribes, and he wanted them to protest peacefully. And he actually started this movement called the Red Shirts. And they were so successful in protesting peacefully. This very famous instance that they were protesting in a bazaar, and the British came and they started firing at them, and they didn't move. They stood there, and it was like one line after another. People just kept standing there and dying, but they didn't react at all. And when the Muslim League and Jinnah became very popular, when Gandhi and the Congress went to jail and they won all the seats in the Muslim reserve for Muslims, it was only in Peshawar and the parts where the red shirts were popular that they didn't win and the Congress didn't win. One. So, Shah Rukh Khan's father was one of those red shirt guys. And he actually, though he was from Peshawar, he actually came to India and stayed there. So that is the whole backdrop there. And I think what I really like about the movie is that it's very proper casting. Like Rani Mukherjee is a Bengali, she's playing a Bengali. Hema Malini is a Tamil Brahmin, she's playing a Tam. Shah Rukh Khan is a Pathan, so he's playing a Pathan. And like, who else? Atul Kulkarni is a Marathi, so he's playing a Marathi guy and all that. So like the casting is very, very, very well done. And I'm sure like even when you were watching the movie, you were like every scene, some random small part pops up. It's like some very well-known actor, right?
Hmm. I have a question. Why make Shah Rukh Khan dub himself in Tamil then?
I guess it's just that
Why that specific request?
because maybe the thing is that you have to get the exact essence of a person. It's only in India that we have people dubbing for other actors. It's not at all a practice in
Yeah,
any other industry. Like here, though, our heroines have run their entire careers on dubbing with other actresses. So it was just like precedent. They just wanted to like maybe he just wanted a specific sound that, and also in the movie itself is established that he's come to Madras. He studied here for a while, so that's why he knows some Tamil. That
right.
that background building is there in the thing. And also, did you know? In the end, Gandhi's great grandson.
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually Gandhi's great grandson.
Oh, the actual guy.
Yeah, it's the real guy. It's not an actor who's come to play
Right.
him. So all that
That's
is,
interesting.
yeah, it's like it was like a passion project that he made. Apparently, he lost an enormous amount of money on it, and the he lost so much money on it that he actually paid off some of the debts when Vikram released.
Oh,
Yeah, because I
when was
mean,
this movie released again?
2000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if you notice, even Shruti Hassan's in the movie.
Yeah, I found that out later after I was doing my own research. I found out that she was in the movie. She was playing Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's daughter, apparently.
Yeah, and she's also a
Yeah,
singer
I
in the
didn't
title
realize.
song. So all that is there. But like after watching the movie, and there's another little bit that I want to tell. Hopefully, if we don't go to jail for this, but you notice the scene where Saket gets the gun for the first time, right?
Yes.
He gets the gun from the Maharaja, and he imagines he's shooting at Gandhi. And when he shoots at Gandhi, it turns into a Nazi symbol.
Right.
And the Nazi symbol then turns into a lotus. The lotus is the symbol of, I don't want to mention.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's very cleverly
So
done.
this
Like
movie was not like banned or something, no?
it when it released, it's the again
There was a lot of
the only movie that's probably protested by both the BJP and the Congress.
right.
And there was this other story that I'd heard because I was once talking to this professor in like Iowa from Iowa who was very famous for writing about the Ramayana. He basically came up with these English translations of the Ramayana that became popular in the West. And apparently he really, really liked the movie when he watched it. So he contacted Kamal Haasan and he invited him over to the States to like talk about new festival skins and all. And he apparently this very funny story. So in Delhi University, it's like this very famous place where all the leftists and people of a certain liberal
Yes, yes.
ideology are there, right? So apparently Kamal had gone there, and these guys were offended with Hiram because they thought trying to normalize a certain he's trying to like create sympathy for right wing characters and all that.
Right.
So he got attacked from both sides at that time.
Because like that would be this movie wouldn't even pass the censor board as of it is right now.
Yeah, that is true. It is a movie that is one of its kind in a very, very true sense of the word. It's not your art film. It's not your proper commercial film. It's a very accessible movie, but it's got a lot of layers once you start like thinking about it and digging deep into it, I think. That's at least why I like the movie a lot.
Yes.